Let me know if there's no audio. All right, everyone, we are live. What's today's this episode is going to be controversial, I promise you. Are you conflicted about body positivity? Is it wrong to want to lose weight? Can you truly be healthy at any weight and any body size? Well, this episode is for you. It's going to be controversial, and let's do this. All right. Welcome, everyone, to Keto Chat Live. I'm your host, Carol Freeman. I have a master's in nutrition and clinical health psychology. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist and also a board-certified ketogenic nutrition specialist. And I specialize in helping women 40 plus follow a keto diet for sustainable weight loss. Now, let's give you the little medical disclaimer so that lawyers are happy. This show is meant for educational and entertainment purposes only, is not medical advice nor intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any condition. If you have questions, concerns about your specific medical condition, please seek out a qualified medical professional, your doctor. Yes, okay, we can hear it. Thank you so much for the validation. I tried it with my little earbuds and I couldn't hear myself, so I wasn't sure. So we just little tech issues here. We're getting it all figured out. All right. And just some updates here, everyone. Thanks for joining the show. What's going on in my life? Well, I got a comedy show tonight out in Ahwatukee, which is an area of South Phoenix, and so excited about that. Got some friends coming out. Should be a really great show. It's going to be really fun. Last week I went to a wedding and then took a spontaneous trip to San Francisco for the weekend. And I'm so grateful for the way that I've designed my business, that I can serve my clients at a very deep level, get them results, provide them with support that, as I understand it, is next to none. There's no other keto coaching support program out there that has as much support that we have, but I still can go and travel and make spontaneous trips to wherever I want to go. So, also, I moved into a new co-working space in Phoenix. So, and with this dedicated podcast studio, which I'm still learning how to set up the equipment in. And so, let me know what you think of the sound. This episode and our last episode are recorded in this or broadcast live from this new podcasting studio. So let us know what you think of the sound. And one other thing we're working on right now is that I'm making preparations for our membership's virtual retreat. This will be the fourth one that we've done. And for people that are in my long-term keto membership, which again, if you want to make changes long-term, you have to have long-term support. So these ladies are very smart that they've joined and stayed on with me for long-term. So we have our virtual retreat coming up, our fall one coming up October 15th and 16th. And today it was putting together the outline for the 2 days. And this is the fourth one we've done. People absolutely love these. It's meant to help us connect as a community and just up-level our keto game and take things to the next level and just feel really connected, motivated, and excited to keep going with things. And we do not record the sessions. So they are in Zoom, they are virtual. People can join all over across the country. You have to be one of our members to be able to participate in this, and we don't record them. And this is a way of getting people to show up live and not say, oh, I'll just watch the recordings later. It also helps people be able to share in a really authentic and honest way, knowing that nobody else is going to be watching it later and it's only happening there live. So it creates a very safe space for people. We've got some teaser topics that we're going to be doing. We've got, if I can move my page without ripping the cord out here. One of our peer support coaches, Dr. Cindy Ryan, is always a very popular speaker. She speaks all over the country, and so we get to the privilege of having her on our virtual retreats. We always do a cooking class and get to cook together. It's really cool. We've brainstormed some topics as well too. So we're going to be doing our top keto hacks for foods and coping and travel and meal and restaurants, and also some traps and pitfalls. I'm going to be doing a label reading class as part of this as well. So help people figure out, are those foods at this store really keto friendly? And one of our other peer support coaches is an avid CrossFitter. And so she's going to teach a couple of movement sessions for us. So not as intense as CrossFit, but the working title is the zip that comes with movement, and working towards holiday mindset. So we plan our fall retreat right before we head into the holiday season, which for a lot of people can be really tricky, of avoiding all of those high sugar, high carb foods that come along with the holidays. So, and so much more. So, if you are listening to this and you were one of our Keto Lifestyle Crew members, guess what? You get to attend for free. And on the first of the month, when your email comes out, you will get the registration link to join us there. If you're a former client and feel like you're missing out, having a little bit of FOMO, send me a message and I'll let you have some information about how you can join us as well. And if you're somebody that is one of our uh, have never worked with us, also get in touch with us and let me. I will let you know how you can actually participate in this as well. So, and finally, the other news information, new stuff here is that I did an experiment last week where we invited a few people to come as a guest onto our group coaching calls. People that were considering working with us, considering, wanted to know what it was like to work with a keto coach. And it was a huge success. All three of the people that came as guests are now clients for us. And so it's very exciting because they got to see what it was like to be immersed in our group of ladies that are all very successful on keto and that are continuing this as a long-term journey. And so if you are somebody that would be curious, maybe you want to be able to participate in our virtual keto retreat that's coming up, or if you're just somebody who's kind of stuck and maybe you've had some success on keto, can't figure out how to get to the next level, or you did it in the past and it worked and now you can't figure out how to get back on track, reach out to us and we'll give you some information about coming on as a guest in one of our keto coaching calls. Let me put there is an email that I would love for you to send a message to. I will put it on the screen here. Oh man, where is it? Oh, here we go. You can send an email to support@ketocarol.com. Carol has an E on the end. Don't forget that. And just let my assistant will be answering those emails, and let her know that you would like information about being a guest on our group coaching calls, or if you'd like some more information about how to participate in the virtual retreat or any other questions you've got, please send them right over there. So, all right, let's get back to, let me see the comments all of you have. All right, so again, welcome to the show. So glad you're here. Those of you watching live, just pop a comment out there and let me know where you're watching from, where you're joining. I can see we've got some viewers on YouTube, so participate in the chat there, and so glad that you're here. But today's topic, I'm going to be talking about the body positivity movement, trend, whatever you want to call it, trend or theme. And so I'm going to talk about the training that I had in this, uh, how I lived this and tried to teach it to my clients, what that did to my health, and what it was like living in that body. I'm going to talk about how it's affecting the people that are coming to work with me now, and their mindset and how ashamed they are. And then I'm gonna break it down and say, like, what is wrong. Oh, this is the controversial part. What is wrong with the body positivity movement? Okay. So buckle up. This should be fun. So, I feel like I have one of the best nutrition educations that is available, especially for doing the work in the weight loss space, because I have a master's in nutrition and a master's in clinical health psychology. It is a very unique degree that I've got 2 master's degrees simultaneously. Oh my gosh, I lived through it. It was very stressful and a lot of hard work, but I wouldn't trade that education for anything because it exposed me to so many different really important topics. And I did learn during school about intuitive eating, mindful eating, and the health at every size movement and research that's out there. So let me tell you what those things are. And they have a lot of value, but also there's a lot of things that they get wrong. And I'm going to break those down for you here today. So, intuitive eating. This is the concept that says that if we just slow down and we really tune in to what our body is telling us it wants, that we will actually be able to have a healthy body weight. We will eat foods that nourish us and meet our nutrient needs. But I'll tell you what, back when I was following this, I would walk through the grocery store every night, and the bakery section always called me, and I would walk through all the desserts and I would be, what is my body telling me it needs right now? And often it was, pie or cake or cookies or something like that. And I'll tell you what, none of those are meeting my nutrient needs at all. Mindful eating is a concept. And again, all of these have things that are very valuable. And I use all of these now, but I'm going to tell you also that they got a lot of things wrong. There are pieces missing. So I'm going to say they didn't get things wrong, but there's big chunks that are missing that makes these they don't work unless you have some other things with them. So mindful eating is this concept that if we just slow down and we use the mindfulness principles, that we also will make the most healthy choices possible, and we will just eat foods that nourish us. We won't overeat. So mindful eating involves being present here in the now. We're paying attention to what's happening, the food on our plate. We're paying attention when we eat it to the taste, textures, and sounds of it. We're not thinking about the past. We're not worrying about the future. We're just here in this moment. We're in our body. We notice how it feels when we're sitting or standing. And there's no judgment. So another piece of mindful eating is that you're not telling yourself you're bad for eating something or you're good for eating something else. There's no judgment. It's just food. It's just something that you're eating. It's no right, wrong, good, or bad. You just are doing it. And so mindful eating says that poor choices come from not being present in the moment, not paying attention to how the food actually tastes in our mouth. It also says that when we judge ourselves for eating certain things or craving certain things, and we say, oh, I'm a bad person because I ate this, that further perpetuates us making those choices. And then if we tell ourselves we're good for doing something, putting moral judgment on food is what perpetuates cravings and overeating and making those poor choices. When we feel bad about ourselves, we want food to soothe that. And that's not really why we make those choices. Now, it can actually have an impact on what you eat. So there are some foods that we just are accustomed to eating. We shovel it in our mouth. We don't actually pay attention to how it tastes or feels in our body. And so mindful eating, and again, there's a lot good in these concepts, and I use these with my clients, but without the proper context of the right foods that actually do nourish our body and moving away from things that are highly palatable and trigger us on a biochemical way to overeat them, these things by themselves are not enough to actually help us be a healthy body weight and make healthful food choices that nourish our body. And then the health at every size movement. This is research based, and there are a lot of practitioners out there that follow this. And what this says is that uh, chronic dieting leads to people being food obsessed, and maybe they can lose weight temporarily, but they always regain it. And that by encouraging people to try to lose weight and to be in a leaner body, that is what makes them hate themselves. It makes their health worse, and that was what makes people regain the weight and more. And so Health at Every Size says it's much better to help people just learn to love their body as it is, and that they will be healthier. Even if they're overweight, they will be healthier than if they chronically diet and gain even more weight back. And well, there's that's also slightly incorrect. So they have a lot of research that backs this as well, where they say that yes, when people go on, it is true that when people diet and then they go off the diet, they gain more back. That's the way our body's designed. It's not the it's not the diet per se or the wanting to lose weight or hating your body that made that happen. It's just the way that our bodies are designed. And so unless you can find a way of changing your eating habits permanently that you can stick with indefinitely, yes, if you go on a temporary diet, you will gain the weight back and more. That's the way your body's designed. That part is very true. Um, the part that gets wrong with the health at every size, though, is they do say that people can be healthy at any size, that it doesn't matter. You need to separate your health from your weight. And I'll tell you what, like all my ladies that have lost weight, we run labs on them and they get healthier. So they were not healthier at the heavier weight. And also, yeah, so let me talk about those pitfalls here in just a moment. So those are the concepts that I learned. And again, I use these with my clients now, but we've got to have them in a context that makes them actually work. So now I live this. I embraced this wholeheartedly. I believed everything that I learned about this. And so what happened to me? And I was trying to teach it to my clients. Let go of trying to lose weight. That's bad. It causes eating disorders. It just makes you weigh even more. And so just learn to love your body just as it is. Let go of the fantasy that you can never lose weight and keep it off. It was hard. It was a hard sell, I'll tell you that. And what happened to me is that I ended up being over 220 pounds. I graduated. I graduated with 2 master's degrees. Over the years following, I reached over 220 pounds. So I wasn't trying to diet. I wasn't trying to lose weight. I had zero focus on that. In fact, I was one of those people that shamed people for trying to lose weight or ever going on a diet or ever trying to eat healthier. Not that's wrong. Not trying to eat healthier, but people that were actively trying to watch their intake in order to facilitate a lower body fat. And I thought that that was, again, I believed everything that these concepts teach, and I believed that I was better and healthier because I was not trying to lose weight and diet, but all I was doing was continuing to gain weight. And I ate whole foods. I didn't eat junk food. I didn't go to fast food. I ate whole foods. But again, I would end every day night with a dessert. I was definitely overeating and overconsuming. And I ended up with metabolic syndrome, which I'll tell you what, not healthy at that size. My waist measurement was 40 inches. I had high blood pressure. I had low HDL. I had high triglycerides. So those are four of the 5 criteria for metabolic syndrome. I also likely had blood sugar that was creeping up towards the diabetic range. So I almost had all 5 of those. Besides that, it was miserable living in that body. And here's one of the things that I see that the health at every size model gets wrong is they discount the fact that when people are a heavier body weight, a heavier body fat percentage than what's optimally healthy for them, it doesn't feel good living in that body. It's not just an extra heavy weight that you're carrying around, but the metabolic state that's in your body, the high insulin, the excess of inflammation, and all the other factors that go into this, the body doesn't feel good to live in. I had stiff ankles. Every time I woke up in the morning, my ankles were really stiff. It was hard to walk around. I had chronic heartburn. I had skin tags, which, if you have those, I mean, I grew up in a family where everyone had them, and we were just told that was a part of getting older. It turns out it's a sign of insulin resistance. So I had skin tags. I was constantly hungry. I was food obsessed. All I ever thought about was what am I going to eat next? I also would have blood sugar crashes. So I couldn't leave the house without actually having some snacks. If I was going to go meet friends for a meal, I would be obsessed with, well, let's go to the place that's going to give me the biggest portion because I need to eat a lot of food to feel hungry or to not feel hungry. And even then, I probably wouldn't be very satisfied. I felt tired after meals. I had to buy bigger and bigger clothes. Um, and it's uncomfortable to be walking around in that body. And I was definitely headed towards type 2 diabetes. So it was not quality of life. And again, I was focused wholeheartedly on intuitive eating, mindful eating, and just not trying to diet or lose weight. And all it did was making me gain more weight. So the trend that I see now is body positivity, where especially the health at every size, or just the concept of like your body size is not correlated with your health status. And I'll tell you right now, I think that loving your body at any size is absolutely paramount. I 100%, 1000% agree with love yourself no matter what you look like, no matter what size you are. That's the part of this that I 100% agree with. The women I'm working with are so ashamed of themselves, their bodies, their attempts. They are trying to be healthier. They are trying to be leaner. They've tried everything on the market, every diet, every program, And yes, they have fallen in the trap of losing the weight and gaining it back and even more. But that's not because they need to just give in and learn to love their bigger body and being overweight. So the part that I agree with is you are worthy, lovable, and acceptable as you are, no matter what size you are, no matter what body percent fat you have. I 100% agree with that. Body positivity is a great thing. We need to let women shake off that shame that they need to be a certain perfect thing that's on magazine cover that's photoshopped and totally unrealistic. That should stop. But what I'm seeing is that with the movement to the other way of, oh no, you can actually be whatever size and you can be healthy and you don't need that. It's wrong to try to lose weight because that's bad for you. The women that are coming to me for help, they actually are often ashamed to admit that they would like to be slimmer, leaner. They have been leaner in the past and they know that they felt better in that body. And they're ashamed to admit this because we're living in this world now where it's all about, nope, just learn to love your body and let it be as big as it wants to be. And you can feel great and there's no negative side effects or consequences of living that way. But these ladies know that's not true. They have chronic headaches and low energy and food obsession. They've got aches, joints, and pain in everywhere in their body. They have some of them have disease diagnoses and autoimmune conditions. Not all of them do, but a lot of them do. It's just really uncomfortable living in these bodies. They know that because they've been slimmer in the past and they felt much better. And so it's not necessarily about the extra fat on their body. It's about what is going on inside, the health consequences of the higher insulin and the inflammation and so on and so forth. And they're ashamed that they want to be smaller, leaner, slimmer. They're ashamed to tell me this. And I have to validate that, no, I get it. I get it. When you're living in a body that's unhealthy and has more fat on it than is healthy for you, it's a lot of burden to carry around. It's hard being tired all the time and having aches and pains and being food obsessed. And then getting this message that that's bad to want to change that. And they have a hard time facing the fact that, like, am I supposed to just give up and settle with gaining weight each year? Buying bigger clothes, adding more medications, and feeling more tired and uncomfortable in my body? Is that the only option? So let's talk more now about what those concepts got wrong and the problems I have with the body positivity. Now, I'm using that as an umbrella term. And I told you at the beginning this would be a little controversial. So again, to clarify, I have zero problem with being positive about our bodies. In fact, I actually think that's a wonderful thing. I want all of my women to feel amazing about themselves as a person and their body. And you can love yourself. So what they get wrong is it's not dichotomous. You don't have to hate your body in order to want to lose weight. You can love yourself just as you are and strive to feel good and get healthier. You can want to be the best version of yourself. And being a lower body fat in the healthy range actually can be part of that, of loving yourself. So women's bodies are generally healthiest at 22 to 29% body fat. So that's where I help my clients set a goal to be somewhere in that range. Now, not all of them get there. They may not get there really quickly, but that's what a realistic goal of a healthy women's body fat percentage is. And in fact, puberty is actually triggered in little girls once they hit 22% body fat. That's the signal that tells their body it's time to go through puberty. And this is why it's happening younger and younger, is because our children are getting heavier and heavier, more body fat at a much younger age than previously. So this is why it's not the hormones in the milk or anything like that. It's the percentage of body fat. That's what triggers puberty. And so wanting to lose weight, specifically wanting to lose fat is not inherently bad. That is not what causes eating disorders. It's not what causes the rebound effect of regaining the weight. Now, again, for my clients, we're checking metabolic labs at the beginning of their journey, and we're watching that over time, and they're all getting better. It's because we're getting at the root cause of what's causing the fatigue and the food obsession and the inflammation, all of those things. And people, they always feel better when they get their body fat lower. So, for example, one of my peer support coaches, Karen, she's lost over 70 pounds, and she figured out that her two twin grandsons, holding both of them, they weigh less than that, but trying to hold them and walk around all day long, it was a lot of extra burden on her body. Of course, it would be hard to carry 70 pounds around all day long. Of course, it's going to feel easier to move around through life and do everything that you want to do, from walking up and down stairs to putting your shoes on to chasing your grandkids around. Of course, it's going to feel easier to move through life with 70 less pounds that you're carrying around. So, and also losing weight itself and also food restriction is not what causes eating disorders. In fact, I've worked with several people on keto that have had diagnosed eating disorders, and it actually improved their eating disorder. It removes the food obsession, it removes the constant hunger, it removes the blood sugar roller coaster that contributes to both those things. And we're also, the way that I teach keto, we're removing hyper palatable food. So again, if you haven't listened to any of my past episodes, hyper palatable food combo is fat and sugar together, or carbs and fat, or sweet and fat together. That triggers our body to crave it, our brain to crave it, and it triggers us to overeat it. That's the core of binge eating disorder. And instead, we tell people that if you just love yourself, if you just have moderation, if you don't feel bad about yourself while you're eating it, and you just slowly eat it and enjoy it, you won't struggle with binge eating disorder. That's BS. Our body, our brain are specifically designed to crave those foods and overeat them. There's no amount of self-love, moderation, or non-judgmental eating you can do that's going to make you not overeat those foods. So some food restrictions, some drawing a line in the sand, and I prefer, instead of talking about food restriction, I help my clients look at, like, here's all the foods that you can eat. Focus on what you do like. The foods that I can coach my clients to eat, I'll tell you what, they could have unlimited food combinations. They would never have to eat the same meal again for the rest of their lives. There is so much variety. They're not deprived. And once they get to the point of no longer being food obsessed, no longer overeating, plenty of energy, free from aches and pains, freedom moving around and feeling so much better in their body, they don't look at it as a restriction either. They look at it as freedom. So this is where these concepts are getting things wrong. They have pieces missing. And the truth is, you can lose weight and keep it off if you find the right approach, a way of eating that you can stick with indefinitely the rest of your life, along with the right kind of support. Because guess what? Our whole world, our food supply is all designed to make us overeat it, crave it, and not be able to have moderation. So it's not the concept of losing weight. It's not trying to lose weight that makes these things. It's the foods. It's the food fault. So again, I'm 100% for loving your body and yourself exactly where you are. And you don't have to give up on trying to be the healthiest version of yourself, right? So when somebody wants to try to climb Mount Everest, we applaud that. Oh my gosh, what a feat of human achievement. Good for you. Or somebody wants to do a marathon. Somebody wants to do an Ironman or one of those Tough Mudder races. Good for you. You're trying to see what you can achieve in your body. It's within the parameters of what would be considered a good thing to do. We're so proud of you for doing that. Why then is it something that we consider to be bad that people are trying to achieve a healthy body fat percentage? achieve the healthiest version of their body. Now, again, I'm not helping people trying to get to that bikini body where they have a six pack on a woman's body. That's just not a healthy body fat percentage for women. It's not sustainable. I'm helping people get to a body that feels good to live in. Their labs reflect that they're healthy on the inside as well. And they're free of all those aches and pains and just the things that don't feel good to live in. And so, while I agree with body positivity in that you should love yourself, you are lovable, your body is perfect the way that it is. And also, if it doesn't feel good, it's okay to attempt to lose weight and to get the right support and the figuring that out and not giving up on it. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? All right, I can't wait to see your comments. I hope that nobody has any hate messages. Again, I appreciate the messages of the health at every size, mindful eating, intuitive eating. Those are things that I do bring in. But again, they're missing some really important pieces. So let me tell you about how I then bring in the health at every size. Okay. Again, I believe that you are lovable and you should be positive about your body at any size. But the piece that's missing is that it's okay to try to lose weight and get the right support and get that figured out. Intuitive eating. When I use this all the time with my clients in the context of a whole foods, well-formulated ketogenic diet, you can absolutely use intuitive eating. I have my clients not eat till they're hungry. They stop eating when they're full. That's intuitive eating. They select foods that they enjoy and they like. They eat what sounds good within the parameters of a whole foods, well-formulated keto diet. They don't eat foods that don't sound good to them. They don't eat foods that don't taste good to them. Maybe they're hungry for a meal, and so then they look within the refrigerator or at the grocery store. What foods sound or look good to me? You can absolutely use intuitive eating then. It's wonderful. There's no amount of ounces of water that I have my clients drink. When you're thirsty, drink some water. If you're not thirsty, you don't need to drink a certain amount of water. Again, in the right context, these concepts are amazing. The mindful eating as well. When you're eating a whole foods, well-formulated ketogenic diet, you can let go of judgment. Because a lot of my ladies have been told that, like, well, they eat very little, eat lots and lots of vegetables. But if you're eating vegetables and it's making you feel bloated, you aren't enjoying it. Mindfulness in this case is going to be about how does it taste and feel in your mouth? How does it feel in your body as you're eating it and digesting it? Which of those foods align with you and make you feel good? Which ones don't make you feel good for the long term? That's how I'm using mindful eating with my clients in the right context. All right. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on all this. I saw a comment the other day in a Facebook group from dietitians that were saying how there are some people out there that are promoting health at every size, but they also are trying to help people lose weight, and how that's heresy. It's the antithesis of it. But the health at every size model does actually say that you should engage in movement and eat healthfully because it feels good. And I agree with that as well. That's another thing intuitively that I have my clients do, is that when they feel like they have lots of energy and they want to go do movement or exercise or activity, whatever you want to call it, I encourage them, do something that feels good to you, that you enjoy doing, that feels good in your body, not because you need to burn a certain amount of calories or you need to do that to lose weight. Do movement because it feels good and you have the energy to do it. So that's another example of how I bring those concepts into what I do. All right. We're wrapping this up here. So please leave your comments, questions. hopefully you can see how well-rounded my approach is and how I'm taking the best of all these things. So really, the approach that I have is very unique. It's very, very comprehensive, learned and mushed it all together into a wonderful, very comprehensive approach that does take account the psychology, biochemistry, the neurochemistry, the hormones, and labs, and so much more. Really, my goal, my ladies, be the healthiest version of themselves and feel mentally and physically as good as they can. So, next episode, I'm going to have a guest on. I love her so much, Amber O'Hearn, and we're going to talk about the keto diet, sleep, and satiety. So come back for our next episode. Today, we talked all about body positivity. We talked about the parts that I like about it, the parts that they're getting right. We talked about the parts that they're getting wrong. And we talked about what the whole picture looks like and what it's actually going to help people actually be the healthiest version of themselves. So, all right. So if you liked what you heard today, and you'd like to get more personalized support for your keto diet, I invite you to check out my website, ketocarol.com. I do work very closely with my clients. It is the most comprehensive keto program that's out there. It has the most support available for any weight loss program. And I do only work with my clients by application. So since I'm working so closely with them, I work with people by application. We do a very thorough vetting process to make sure that it's a match for both of us. So, and so if you're ready to stop messing around, you're ready for a next chapter of your life where you can be the best version of yourself. If you're somebody who's really successful in all the other areas of your life, but this is just the one little piece, you're like, why can't I figure this out? You're probably a really good fit to work with me. So apply to work with me. Visit my website, ketocarol.com, see if we're a match. And again, right now we're offering some guest spots on our group coaching calls, so you can really thoroughly get a taste of what it's like to work with us. And that's all for now. Thank you so much for being here today. Remember, share this if you found this interesting, if you found this helpful, share it with a friend. Help us grow the show, and I'll help you shrink. Thank you all for being here today. We'll see you next time. Bye now.